Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SGL Broadcasting. We're here with you at the post-game interview for the AoA versus game of week number 6 in SGL. Wow, what a game is all I have to say. First, before I get started, I want to give a shout out to the teams. AoA, we had Drew, Dark Evil's in here. We've got Berserk. We've got Launchpad. Who else do we have in here? 7. And I think that ties it up for the AoA crew. Oh, and Drew.
And Lords. Don't forget
Lords. Hey, Lords. How you doing? How you doing, AoA?
Don't forget Endo.
Endo?
Pretty good. We've got too many members.
Not a problem. And it's so hard to visualize you through the 20 different people that are on Mumble right now. Big shout out to AoA. You guys took that game. Awesome job. Before we get into the game, I want to give a big shout out to as well. Welcome, Scarface. You're here as well. We've got Scarface. We've got, who else? Perspalis. And we have, I think that's about it for the team.
Not bad. Not bad.
That's one. Scarface.
Yeah,
Scarface says nothing.
Scarface is AFK.
Oh, Bacon's here too. Okay, well, let's give a little bit of a recap of the game. Big shout out to Amin and Basic for helping me commentate that. Awesome job, guys. I'm dead tired today, so you guys took most of the thunder and you ran with it, which was awesome. For the post-game interview, AoA started out strong. 10 minutes into the game, they got their first cap. After that, came back and pushed very, very hard, took a second cap for themselves, and then the third cap was taken by AoA at around, I think it was 25 to 28 minutes into the game. I might be incorrect on that one, but it was later in the game. And that just sent the momentum tumbling. From there was really nothing holding them back. They just had the red team, or they were on the red team. They had the defense down. They had the raping skills down. So AoA, you took it. Before I go to AoA, I want to get MM's opinion. Did you think the game was going to go that way? Feel free to speak up, guys.
Honestly, probably not. I rushed home from work. I was late. I didn't think I was going to come into such an intense game.
Gotcha. So what were your thoughts? Were you thinking it was going to be a walkover for you, or were you thinking you were just still the upper level on the team?
I just felt like it wasn't going to be a walkover. I knew AoA would come to play. I just felt like for some reason we had an upper hand. But obviously when I came in, I saw AoA. They were ready mentally, and they were just there playing together like a team. It was crazy.
Excellent point. What do you think? Well, it looks like we might not be hearing from Croa. All right, well, AoA.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
I was on the phone.
Yeah.
I was on the phone. What was the question?
The question is, when you went into that game, what were your thoughts on how you thought the game would go? At the very beginning, before anything happened.
Well, I knew that AoA, they always show a pretty decent line against us, so I didn't expect it to be a walkover, and yeah, I think they've just played really well.
Absolutely. So what do you think? It looked like you guys re-rallied at that first cap. Just after that first cap AoA took, you guys definitely re-rallied, and then it looked like everything sort of fell to pieces. Do you attribute that to anything? Or are you thinking that's just AoA stepping up to the game plate and showing that they were able to dump?
Yeah, no, just I didn't expect AoA to play that well, but seeing the line, I knew that it would be a pretty good game. Just doesn't really play enough together. That's what it comes down to, realistically.
Do you think that maybe the level of confidence you guys went into the game with might?
No, like I said, I knew that AoA was going to put up a good fight. I didn't expect it to be easy, put it that way.
All right. Honest Basic, you guys got any quick questions for the M?
So I noticed that you guys subbed out a couple players and then subbed in a couple players. Do you feel like that helped or didn't help?
Nah, it didn't. I feel it didn't really help. It should have been me who subbed out, but Bacon wasn't wanting to play, so yeah.
And one more question, real quick. In terms of your teamwork in general, do you feel like that you guys don't really play as much together, and so your teamwork isn't there, or do you just feel like you just had a bad day or whatever?
Yeah, I don't really feel that we had a bad day. It's just the first one. We don't play enough together, and we need to sort that shit out.
That's a good
All right,
point.
cool.
Bacon, I know you can hear us and you're chatting in the chat. Can you actually speak? Do you have a mic again?
I have a mic, bro.
Haha, say dickhead for me.
Fuck you.
Dude, come on, you
Good enough?
you gotta say it.
Just ask me to. Yeah, no, pretty good. Not good. I'm freaking snowed in, so I couldn't go to work.
Oh shit, you guys have snow out there? That's crazy. Back to the game though, buddy.
I just said it.
Sorry, no offense. Not that I don't want to hear about your snow in situation, but I am curious. You said you didn't want to play. What was going on in your mind? Were you thinking you just weren't able to contribute that much, or are you tired, or what's going on?
Oh, bro, it wasn't the fact that I didn't want to play. It was just Dario felt a lot stronger with Persepolis. So it was sort of like, well, how about we just chuck those two together and I'll sub out with Ross. Scar and Crow, it's sort of like, it's their clan. They're the strongest out of, well, they are strong in MM. So I just sort of thought, I'll sub out for Persepolis to get in, because that's sort of what Dario wanted. I was just pretty much just going with the flow, really.
So it sounds to me like it was a strategic.
Well, I think if Pers can help me out here, I think Dario has taken a lot of interest in Mo with everything. So I think that's the reason why Dario wanted to play him with him. Just they play together, sort of like me and Ella. It's just sort of like, yeah, MM don't play together, but a few play together. So you just sort of keep that companionship.
Gotcha. Well, it looked like, to be honest, not to draw back on or draw away from what you were saying, Croa, but it did actually look like that substitution helped you guys out after that first cap, and maybe it didn't last, but at any rate, hey, you guys gave it your best. You pulled some strategic moves. You definitely were fighting, but AoA just took the upper hand. AoA. Let's get to you guys. If there's nothing else from the MM team that you guys want to say, give a shout out to anybody or anything. AoA, did you expect that? And if you didn't, what was going through your mind during that game? Were you just super prepared for it, super psyched, super pumped? What was going through your
Well, we've been working, and we definitely knew that this game is definitely gonna make a huge impact for our spot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I mean, we were definitely obviously going to show our top line. We were actually unstable with our fourth person for our starting line, but as soon as we recruited Tango, we knew he was the one. To be honest, actually, right before this game, we never actually played together. All four of us, not us, but I mean Tango, LP, Drew, and Seven. They actually never played in a game together. But I mean, everything worked out great. I mean, they have great chemistry. They know what to do. So I mean, we were gonna give our best, and that's what we gave.
Well, it definitely paid off for you. I guess that is a major point. Going into that game, you guys had to be feeling, so sick. You were mentioning Nips, you were mentioning that you expected to win. Obviously, the game was a must to win them to make the playoffs. Is this something that you guys had discussed before the game? And going into the game, do you think that that may have made you guys a little bit nervous to be, or was it just extra motivation to really?
We started talking about this game 2 weekends ago when we were sitting here in the post-game chat after I don't remember who we played. And we kind of circled it and knew this was going to be, if we're going to make the playoffs or make a push towards the playoffs, we had to win this game. So we just made sure we could get our top line there. And yeah, we had 7 rush home from work, which is why we called Grace, so that we could get our top 4 on and, get our best run going against MM.
Amin, I know you had a couple of questions in the game that you wanted to ask the AoA boys.
Please don't ask me about my terrible flag attempt.
You knew it was
Too
coming.
bad, buddy.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask you about, but I think you guys recognize why that was a bad play, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a terrible mistake on my part, and I knew it right away, but I kind of just trapped myself in the situation.
Yeah, you kind of committed.
Exactly. He spawned. I went up to guard that top spawn, and he spawned there, but I was on the wrong side of it, and he got out on me. And I knew we had some smokers their team, so my first thought was maybe I can go pull this flag. So I started to go. It was just downhill from there.
Yeah, you guys also answered one of my other questions. I was gonna ask if you guys prepared before the game, and it seems like you guys were ready for this, right?
We practiced as much as we could leading up to this. We watched some replays. We scouted MM, and we knew we were gonna have to bring our best to win this game. So we tried as hard as we could.
And were you guys excited to see Ella not show up?
To be honest, I thought he was gonna show up at the last minute, but I'm kind of glad he didn't. Work to our advantage, and
I'm pretty sure. Sorry to cut you off there, Berserk. You want to go ahead?
Berserk, you're having a bit of trouble with your mic. Alright, Berserk is disconnected. So before you take your point, DE, remember that. I just want to recap a couple of the things that Lord Nips have been saying. One point, they were very confident going in, but got a little bit cocky. Seven was mentioning that he had to get out of work at 6 p.m., told his crew to call Grace so he could jump on as soon as he got home. And yes, Seven was quite glad that Ella did not show. Made it a little.
Now, with you guys were home, and with the color choice, you guys were planning on picking red, or was that just kind of like a spontaneous decision at the last moment?
I think they discussed it in clan chat right before the game started, so I don't think we actually planned on it.
I personally don't have a preference, so I always just ask my team, whoever is in our lineup, what they prefer, and we had 2 people who wanted to go red, so that's what we went.
Well, this is a good point, Amin, if I'm not cutting you off. I'll take that as a no.
Nope.
This is a really good point, because there's been a lot of discussions between Ominous and I in these game interviews and the commentaries, and a number of other people where, Red Team has a slight advantage when it comes to the defense. Once you got that first cap, it sort of seemed like you guys kind of gave up on the advantage that it gave you, and we're still playing, even after the tie, we're still playing an overly aggressive strategy than what you really needed to. Did you guys see yourselves playing in the kind of living life a little on the dangerous side?
That was a conscious decision we made. We decided we didn't want to switch anything up.
Good point. And Seven says a good defense is a good offense.
Yeah, why mess with success? It got us the first cap, and I think the more you can keep them on their side of the map, the better.
Right. Were you a little nervous after that tie-up? Because a tie would not have helped in terms of getting the playoff.
I personally wasn't nervous. I was more just
Okay.
disappointed in myself for just the way I played that and cost us that cap.
All right. Basic. Any quick question? Or anybody else have any quick questions for the AoA crew? Or AoA have something you want to say? I know, DE, you were holding a thought. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it was regarding a question about if we're happy that Ella didn't show. But I'm pretty sure we were mentally ready to face any line that was going to show. We actually didn't know Ella wasn't showing up until yesterday when Ella told me on Mumble. So, I mean, I think we were pretty ready.
Gotcha. Berserk, you wanted to toss out a couple of comments before we start into something else?
I mean, just shout out to my clan. Like, for real, we knew the situation we're coming in after last week. We knew what we had to do, show our strongest, and just come out and do our best. I know DE has been on my ass to get a mic and telling everyone if they can make or not. So shout out to him. Launchpad's been trying to help us out, a couple practices, and Tingo especially has been telling us to watch replays, and we've been scouting. So I'm really proud of my clan right now, and I hope we can keep it up.
All right. Well, you know what? You guys definitely plowed through there. You know, I was saying to Ominous during the game and Basic, I love an underdog, and AoA is a beautiful underdog story. You guys have come up, done what a lot of people haven't really expected you to do, and now you're sitting in a position where you're able to take on a playoff spot. And that's what I want to talk about right now. I'm going to flip over my screen, and I want to go to the schedule for next week, because this gets very tough. Week 7. As it stands right now, you guys are sitting at 14. is sitting at 12. But let's take a look at the schedule for weeks. And it's going to get dangerous, because you guys are playing against V and iLogic. Now, if iLogic brings their starters, the V versus you guys game, no offense, guys, but I think that's going to be a loss for you. iLogic is still going to be a make it or break it game, I think, because is playing SA, and they're also playing LN. So they're going to take on 2 wins there, which gives them 4 points. You're going to lose 2 of the points. So what do you think about this iLogic versus AoA game?
I mean...
That's going to be your make it or break it spot for the playoffs.
For Violent, I know Violent's a very dominant clan, but I mean, this game we didn't even play together. At least the top 4 didn't even play together. And we managed to pull out a win. But if we do keep practicing and we analyze the replays much further for Violent this time, I'm pretty sure we can. I don't want to be cocky. I don't want to sound cocky, but I'm pretty sure we could pull out at least a tie.
Yeah, we go into every game expecting to win. I mean, so we're not going to look past anybody and just chalk it up as a loss. We've shown that we can hang with the best clans out there, and we haven't come out victorious all the time this season. But I think
I'm sorry. I feel like something like clicked when it happened. Something just clicked in the clan. We just got really, really competitive, and we're just going out for some blood now to prove we belong here.
Awesome point. Well, AoA's out for blood. Yeah, Berserk, you're my. Obviously, you want to go into each game expecting a win. 7, you say V, iLogic, no problem. So I guess we're just going to have to see what happens next week, because that's really going to be your make it or break it. I wish you guys all the best. Any questions from the community, though, for either the AoA crew or the crew that's still with us?
Yeah, I've got a question. You know, for playoffs, what happens if 2 of the clans end up with the same points? Like, for example, and AoA.
We play a tiebreaker game.
Okay.
There you go. And that is a possibility.
It is. It really depends on how well they do versus V. I don't know what line iLogic will show.
Right.
Yeah, and I think our victory, like I'm speaking on behalf of iLogic right now, but I think whether iLogic wins or not will purely depend on who shows to play.
Yeah, I mean that's been the case all season.
Yeah, it
They're
seems
so top heavy.
Meek's starting your grave, AoA. What do you have to say to that? Meek, be
so
careful.
Lucky I haven't shown for any games versus V so far.
D can kick you out of this channel. That's okay. Sebek just gave Launchpad SGL #1 player 2011. You know what? I'll give that to you. Alright, well, you know what? I know a couple of people had a quick question for Ominous. Geodude and Astruck, Astruck, you're on